So here we're going to start with the negative 2x, and then I'm going to distribute that negative into the brackets. So I'm going to subtract a positive 3x, so I'm going to subtract 3x, I'm going to subtract a minus 14, so I'm going to add 14. That equals negative 11. So combining my like terms, and be careful of when you combine this is negative 2 minus 3 is going to be negative 5. Okay, so all those negatives is really important to keep track of. Plus 14 equals negative 11. I'm going to subtract 14, subtract 14. So with all these negatives, it's really important that you pay careful attention to your signs. Okay, so I end up with negative 25. Divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5. So I end up with x equals positive 5. Okay, so we want to undo the calculations, right? We use times to undo divide. We use divide to undo times. We use minus to undo plus. We use plus to undo minus. So here we're being asked to solve for x, but we have a variable z in here. Well, we're not solving for z, so all we're really being asked to do is find x. So there's lots of things I could do. I just want to get x by itself, and really I just need to undo a bunch of calculations. Now here I've got 2 groups here, 2 groups here, and 8 here. That's even. I could divide everything by 2. Okay, so now be careful when you divide. Here I have 2 groups of this. I'm going to divide 2 divided by 2, but I'm not going to distribute into here as well. Okay, that would be wrong. We cannot distribute across times and divide. We can only distribute across plus minus. Okay, so when we distribute that, I end up with x minus 5, because I had 2 of them, now I only have 1. And instead of 2 z's, I now only have 1 z. And now that's going to be equal to 4. Now this is balanced because I've taken exactly half of everything on both sides. So be very careful. So I don't know if this is something I would recommend. Most people like to multiply out the brackets to avoid this issue of not dividing across a times or a divide. Okay, so it might be less problematic to distribute this, but this is possible. Okay, we're allowed to do this. And now I just need to solve for x. So I need to get rid of this minus 5 with a plus 5. Plus 5, I'm going to need to get rid of this plus z with a minus z. Although I don't know what z is, all I know is I kept it balanced. 0 pair here, 0 pair here, and I have x all by itself. Whatever x is, it's going to be 9 minus z. So although we don't know z, I've solved for x. So I can show you the other alternative here. And this in red is probably what I would maybe suggest to do. Just that way it avoids this mistake of over distributing. Okay, we never distribute across this times that we have here. So instead of distributing the division, I'm going to distribute the multiplication because it looks much easier. And then I'm going to get rid of that minus 10 with a plus 10. I'm going to get rid of that plus 2z with a minus 2z. Okay, so I better keep track of this, so I need to make sure I show enough steps. So 2x, I don't want to do too many steps in one, is equal to 18 minus 2z's. Okay, so then I can divide both sides by 2, but remember I have to divide everything by 2. So get x equals 18 divided by 2 is 9. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I only have 1 z. So it's going to look like that. X equals 9 minus z. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. So basically, again, we have an extra variable in there, a, and I'm being asked to solve for x. Okay, so well, we can just treat a like any other number. I'm going to distribute this. Because it's a negative, I need to make sure I distribute the negative, so I end up with negative 2 groups of 3x is minus 6x. Negative 2 groups of minus a is plus 2a's. And really all I need to do is get rid of the plus 4a, plus 6a, plus 5, and then get rid of that times by negative 6. So I'm going to combine my like terms first, so 6a plus 5 minus 6x equals 17. So I'm not sure what I'm doing, so I'm going to show more steps. The less confident I am with this, the more steps I should do. So I'm going to do minus 6a, balance, minus 6a. I've got minus 5, minus 5. Okay, those cancel out, those cancel out. So minus 6x is going to be balancing 12 minus 6 times a. So if I divide by negative 6, now I have to be careful here. Divide by negative 6. 12 divided by negative 6 is negative 2. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is positive a. So there's my solution. A minus 2, or negative 2 plus a. So I've solved for x. Now, although there's a variable in there, as long as I do the opposite operations, I can undo even with extra variables stuck in there.